where simple stories bring powerful lessons. Today, we bring you a heart-touching story called A Glass of Milk. It's about how one act of kindness can come back to you in a way you never imagined. Listen carefully and stay with us until the end. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's begin. A Glass of Milk. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between green hills and winding roads, there lived a young boy named Howard. He was not like other boys his age. While most children played in open fields and walked to school with their lunchboxes filled, Howard lived in poverty. He was thin, his clothes were worn out, and his shoes had more patches than leather. But inside his heart, there was something rich, determination. Howard lived alone with his mother, a kind woman who had fallen sick and could no longer work. Their tiny wooden home had just one room, and every coin mattered. To survive and to pay for his schooling, Howard would go from door to door, selling small things, buttons, pens, needles, anything that could earn him a few cents. One chilly morning, Howard walked down a quiet street, carrying a small box with his items. He hadn't eaten since the day before. His legs were weak, and his stomach ached with hunger. He paused for a moment near a large white house and looked around. The trees danced in the wind, but the streets were empty. He hesitated. He was not used to asking for help, but his hunger left him with no choice. He stepped up to the door, his hands trembling slightly, and knocked. After a moment, the door opened, and standing there was a young girl, about his age, with a warm smile and gentle eyes. She had light brown hair tied in a ribbon and wore a simple cotton dress. Howard looked down, embarrassed. He had meant to ask for food, but seeing her kind face, he lost his courage. Can I please have a glass of water?" he asked quietly. The girl noticed the pale look on his face and understood his condition. "Just a moment," she said kindly. Instead of water, she returned with a large glass of milk, cool, fresh, and full. Howard looked at it with wide eyes. His hands shook slightly as he took it. "Thank you," he whispered. He drank it slowly, savoring each sip as if it were the most precious thing in the world. His strength began to return, and the world around him looked a little brighter. After finishing the glass, he looked at her with tears in his eyes. "How much do I owe you?" he asked, deeply grateful. The girl smiled. "You don't owe me anything," she said softly. "My mother taught me never to take money for kindness." Howard stood there silently, not knowing what to say. Then he nodded and said, "Thank you." From the bottom of my heart. He walked away that day with more than just a full stomach. He walked away with hope. Years passed. The town changed. Buildings grew taller, roads got busier, and the little children became adults. Howard worked hard, studied day and night, and went on to become a doctor. Not just any doctor. He became Dr. Kevin Howard, one of the finest neurospecialists in the country. But no matter how successful he became, he never forgot the girl who gave him milk when he was starving. Her kindness lived inside him like a flame. In another part of the city, the young girl, now a grown woman, was facing a difficult time. Her name was Anna, and life had not been very kind to her. One day, she suddenly felt numbness in her arms and legs. Her hands shook, her speech became unclear, and her vision blurred. Her family rushed her to the best hospital in the city, but even there, no doctor could understand her illness. She was diagnosed with a rare nervous disorder that few had ever seen. Doctors from nearby cities were called in, but none had any answers. Finally, the hospital contacted Dr. Kevin Howard, the best neurospecialist they knew. When Dr. Kevin walked into her hospital room for the first time, he saw a pale woman lying on the bed, surrounded by machines and wires. He read her chart, listened carefully to the symptoms, and studied every detail. Then he looked at her face, and something stirred in his memory. Her eyes, her voice. It reminded him of someone long ago. But he didn't say anything. Not yet. Dr. Kevin worked day and night. He studied, researched, and tested. Slowly, over many weeks, with deep dedication and care, he began to understand her illness. He tried a new combination of medicines, adjusted her diet, and asked the nurses to monitor her day and night. Little by little, Anna began to get better. Her strength returned, her hands stopped shaking, and she could walk again without help. Her family was overjoyed. They thanked Dr. Kevin over and over again. But Anna was quiet. Though she had survived, she was worried about the cost. Her treatment had lasted months, and this hospital was expensive. Her family had only a little money saved in the bank, not nearly enough to pay for such advanced care. The day came when the hospital handed her the final bill. It was in a sealed envelope, resting on her bedside table. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Her heart pounded in fear. She unfolded the paper slowly, bracing herself for a number she could never afford. But what she saw made her freeze. Across the bill, written in bold blue ink, were the words, "Bill paid in full, years ago, with a glass of milk." And beneath it, the signature, Dr. Kevin Howard. Tears streamed down her face as she remembered the hungry boy at her door so long ago. She could barely speak. Her family asked what had happened, and she handed them the paper with shaking hands. Sometimes a single act of kindness comes back in the most unexpected and beautiful way. Thank you for watching this touching story. This story teaches us that no act of kindness is ever wasted. What we give today may return to us tomorrow when we need it most. If you felt inspired, please like, share, and subscribe for more emotional stories in simple English. And always remember, kindness can change lives. See you again in the next video.